we will be talking about agenda setting for the next administration. If you are a Nigerian and you are in Nigeria, even if you are not in Nigeria, you are very well aware that come May 29 of this year, there's going to be a change of baton, there's going to be a handover, and there's going to be a new administration coming in, because we have a president-elect in the person of Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu. We are going to be discussing agenda setting for this administration. And to do justice to this topic, I have in the studio Adefolarin Olamilekan. He is a friend of the house and he is also an economist. You're welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me. Very good morning to our viewers out there.
So agenda setting, we do this every 4 years. My first question would be, does this work?
Actually, just like your question, does it work? But from my own angle is that it means partially it works and partially it doesn't work. What do I mean by that? When we say agenda setting, we want to take on the accountability of every policy of the government. That's what agenda setting is all about. And for the incoming government, for us to set agenda for the incoming government is to look first to during the electionary campaign period. What did he say? What did he promise to do? And what did he think he would do? And how is he going to do it? And that is where we will have to take it on from that angle. And practically, and from the manifesto of the president-elect, it's practically about 7 major things, which maybe because of time, we only look at the 3 critical aspects. 1 is power, 2 is youth employment, and 3 is agriculture. And if you look at the current government that is in power, which is still APC is still replacing APC, they also focus on 3 major things when they came into power in 2015. They talk about security, they talk about corruption, and they talk about economy. But this time around, the president-elect in his manifesto break them down into sectorial understanding for we all to be able to dissect agriculture, youth employment, and power. Power, electricity is key. And in that aspect, we must be able to set agenda for the incoming government. That this is the bane of what have reduced or what have caused a lot of problems for economic development. Because successive government have not taken electricity power as a priority in ensuring that we industrialize our country. And that's why I see the majority of the cottage industry, either in the rural area, either in the suburban area, are closing down as a result of shortage in electricity supply. So we must be able to set agenda setting in that regard and look at the document he has put forward to us that it's going to generate 10,000 megawatts, it's going to generate 15. We must be able to interrogate him on how, when, and where will those electricity generation will be coming from. Then, on the other angle is agriculture. The current government has spent so much on agriculture. You can see what the CBN did in agriculture. Out of the 27 interventions that CBN did, 15 of them went to agricultural sector. And we still hope that in this current government that is going, they have done so well in that aspect to the CBN, and the coming government is also putting forward agriculture, because food sufficiency and food security is key. And just recently, one of the data that came out...
sorry, I'll have to hold your thoughts. We will be taking a short break.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Thank you for staying with us. It's still this morning on ITV from Abuja Network Center here. And we are still discussing agenda setting, looking at the incoming administration. And Adefolarin is still here with us. You were talking about agriculture, right? So continue from where you stopped.
Okay, what I was trying to say is that the current government that is handing over to the new government have done a bit in agriculture, and the new government that is also coming through the manifesto of the president-elect, they also talk about agriculture. And one of the line of statement he said that it will make farmers to smile again. That means it's going to invest much in agriculture. And as I said earlier, I say food sufficiency, food security is very key. We must be able to cater for ourselves in that area. I was also pointing out that there was a report that came out that Nigeria is reporting groundnut oil in thousands, even running to millions of liters.
And there was a time in this country that this same groundnut oil was a means of export. Exactly. It was a product of export. Exactly. Nigeria used to export.
Exactly. So what we are trying to say here is that, as part of the agenda setting for the new coming government, is that, as I have said, farmers will smile. Invest tactically and strategically in the agricultural sector so that we can have food sufficiency and food security in Nigeria. The same thing go to youth unemployment that I said is going to fight. Just recently, a report also came out that if we are not careful, maybe before the end of the year, youth unemployment will go to 43% from the 33 or 34 that it is currently. What it means is that the new incoming government must also see reason that unemployment is one of the things it must focus on. And when we talk about fighting unemployment in Nigeria, it is not giving handout to people. It is not one agency like the National Director of Employment is doing. It's not what ministry like Federal Minister of Humanitarian Disaster is doing, giving 5,000 to people or just teaching people on palliative. No. The thing is that the agricultural sector of the country must be linked to industries, and it is the industry that will generate employment. There are several value chains that comes to agricultural products. So these are the things that government must be able to put in place. And for the new coming government, they must be able to understand this strategically, that for us to be able to reduce unemployment in Nigeria, we must link our agriculture to industry. There are so many wastages through unprocessed agricultural materials or agricultural products that we are just seeing aloof. And if these are tapped into industries, definitely unemployment will be a thing of the past for the country.
Okay, talking about farmers smiling, this has been this has been something that farmers they've been hearing this for like for over 10 years now, because even the past administration started this was into this diversification of economy via agriculture, and back then we had the cassava bread and what have you, and then this administration is talking. But there is one thing that seem missing. What is the place of security? Do not forget that a lot of farmers cannot go to their farms even as we speak right now. Why? Because of the fear of the unknown. What is the place of security?
Definitely. One of the strategic things about the manifesto of the president-elect is that if, from his own angle, if he can tackle agriculture, power, electricity, and youth unemployment, it also reduce insecurity challenge in the country, because most of the people of
but you have to make the farm safe for farmers to go.
Making it safe also means that we just have to put our focus, because current government has spent a lot on security, but what they are mostly doing is the tactical aspect of security in terms of the foot soldiers, taking all aspects of the country, policing here, policing there. But what is being left undone is the welfare aspect of security. The people that have been affected by insecurity, what have you done to bring them back to the life they were living before? And that is where this the president-elect in his own manifesto talking about making farmers to smile. But just like you have pointed out, we must also put security as one of the target agenda for the incoming government, because if we don't treat that particular aspect of the security challenge that we're having, definitely whatever they are building underneath or whatever they are building around it, it will definitely fail. And what does that mean? It means that if you don't tackle the challenge of our insecurity, armed robbery, kidnapping, banditry, and every other thing that you can talk about, any other thing that you're investing to means of ensuring that power, electricity is secure and youth employment is secure, definitely insecurity will come and thwart everything. But the key point is this: what is the new novel area of how to tackle insecurity in Nigeria? And that is what the incoming government will have not told us. Even in the manifesto of the president-elect, it wasn't that specific on what to be done in terms of insecurity. But we know that if we can tackle the ABC of what is causing deficit in economic development, insecurity will be reduced. And that is what generating electricity power and distribute it to every homes and every industrial sector. Then also making sure that the agricultural sector we are talking about is linked to industry. Because a lot of youth that are jobless today, the next thing that comes to their mind is crime. So how do we reduce crime? Is to make sure we provide jobs for the youth. And again, the farmers that we are talking about, if farmers are just producing and it becomes waste, and there's no means of linking their product to finished product, there is a challenge. We talk of Benue State, a lot of oranges and mangoes. Just this morning as I was coming, I was seeing trailers of tomatoes moving all the way from up north into Abuja and going to other parts of the country. What does it mean? If those tomatoes doesn't get to their destination on time, that means they will spoil. So we need a finished factoring for tomato processing, maybe between Abuja and Lagos, that can turn those raw tomato into tomato paste and the rest of it. And what does that do? It creates jobs. And now to the farmers who are planting here and there, how do we secure their life? It means that we need a strategic means of security beyond human physical appearance of soldiers, police, navy, DSS policing all the villages. We also need technology to be imputed in our security architecture, and that is what I would suggest as part of our agenda for the incoming government.
Okay, let's look at power. I remember in the former president Obasanjo during his administration, in the span of that 8 years, it was reported that about 16 trillion naira was sunk into the power sector, and which up till now, you and I, you can agree with me that we cannot, there's nothing much to be said about power sector. So now looking at you, you are an economist, and you want to sincerely advise on ways to achieve this 10,000 megawatts, right? Other countries are talking about 45,000 megawatts, and they have a reserve. They have uninterrupted power supply. And Nigeria keeps struggling between 3,000 to 5,000. The highest we've got is 5,000. And then the next thing it will drop to 3,000, drop to, in some cases, drop to 2,000 naira. So if you are to advise, what should be done to achieve this feat? 10,000 megawatts in Nigeria is no mean feat.
At all. And the key message is that we have discussed this kind of thing on this platform earlier, in the, maybe late last year or so. The issue is this: how do we generate, how do we distribute, and how do we transmit? These are the key challenges we have in our power sector. Now we generate, but the other challenge that normally comes is transmit. Then after transmission is distribution. Now we have a document that regulates how all this is done. But the key message from that document is that it has not gone down to the level that people will understand how all this work in an economy.
Exactly. So, no education.
So thank you. Now, what advice are we going to give the government? Currently, there are several power projects going on across Nigeria. In Mambila Plaza, it is going on. In Niger State, Kenjima, they are doing a lot. Down in Southwest, they are doing a lot of power projects in terms of to generate the power. Now, evacuating the power is another stage. So where we have major challenge is the evacuation, and finally distribution. Meanwhile, the distribution channel is this: we have prepaid meter, we have estimated meter. Now if you are using prepaid meter, the prepaid meter is not even going around, even when government says it's going to be free. Now the estimated meter,
it is not free.
According to the document, it is free.
Yes, but it is not free.
But you have to pay for it, because
of course
it has been prioritized in the hand of people that are handling it. But from the Nigerian Electricity Commission, it is all about giving Nigerian meter for free. That is how it is being spelled out in legal framework. But we have to pay for it. Now the evacuation has always been our challenge. And what is that evacuation? We don't have that trunk line. If you have been seeing 33 kVA moving, there's 2 or 3 around this environment. We don't have enough of them. And when we have those kind of things, we don't have step down transformer to take or to evacuate those power from those kVA down and distribute it. And when it comes to distribution again, people just have to find a means. People who cannot afford to buy the prepaid meter will go for estimated. And now the challenge is this, and the marketing aspect of this distribution is where the people who are in charge are now looking at areas whereby they can now give to that is giving them money.
More money.
So if I evacuate to Pape, that means Pape is paying for electricity. But if I'm not evacuating to Pape and Pape is not paying for electricity, I will shut them out. I will not give them. And that is the mechanism they are introduced. That's why I see that in certain area there will be light. In certain area there will not be light, because they are now look at that marketing strategy to not be able to evacuate that electricity and give to them. And we also have another agency that called Nigerian Electricity Bulk Marketing Company, that buy from transmission company, and transmission company buy from generating company. You now see the line of value chain of how it is being done. Now when electricity bulk company bought from transmission company, now they have to sell to the distribution company. Now the distribution company will come and say, okay, give to us power. And people who are not willing to give power, pay for the power they are having, what do you think will happen? You can see light in Mitama, you see light in Karo, you see light here, but you not see light in other suburb areas. As a result of what? The marketing strategies they are put in place. And my suggestion has always been on this particular discussion is that, can we have a system that will say, pay as you consume?
Is that not what the prepaid meter is all about? No,
the prepaid meter, on that aspect, you can buy a light, you can buy the credit and put in your prepaid meter, but there will not be general light across. So what happened to your prepaid meter? What I'm trying to point out is, in the estimated, because the estimated customer are more than the prepaid meter. So those ones that normally complain that they don't have electricity, what should we do about them? Should we now introduce pay as you consume? If I consume light for 3 hours, they should bring a bill of 3 hours for me. And if a distribution company is going to buy electricity from the bulk company, it should buy the one that it can evacuate and sell to the people.
Thank you very much, Falarin. This is a very educative discussion. I wish we can continue, but we do not have enough time. But I know that some other time we'll continue this discussion because it is something that Nigerians need to know. What you are saying here is something that millions of Nigerians are not aware. There is need for effective power supply for things to move, for us to have a functional economy. We must have interrupted power supply. I have been discussing agenda setting with Adefolarin Olamilekun, and economist who has been able to shed light on what the administration that is coming in should focus on. And also, he talked about accountability, walk the talk. That is what we're talking about. Thank you very much for being part of the program.